Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Chemical Coordination and Regulation, and today in this video we will cover part 5. Now let's begin with the first question, which was asked in the year 1991. Occurrence of the Leydig cells and their secretion is dash. So the Leydig cells are associated with the male reproductive system, so that is the clue for you. Okay, so you don't have to confuse with ovary, estrogen, liver, cholesterol, nothing. Therefore the right answer is option D. Leydig cells are present in the testes and they secrete the male hormone which is required for the reproduction part, which is mainly called as testosterone and androgens. Small groups of polygonal large cells are present in the connective tissue in between the seminiferous tubules and are known as Leydig cells and are interstitial cells. They secrete the male sex hormone which is called as testosterone. Therefore the right answer is option D. Next question here. ADH or vasopressin is dash, and this question was asked in the year 1991. So what is the full form of ADH? It is the antidiuretic hormone, or it is called as vasopressin, is secreted by the hypophysis of the pituitary gland. This hormone increases the reabsorption of the water from the urine, and hence urine gets concentrated and ECF gets diluted. Diabetes insipidus is caused by the hyposecretion of ADH. So I've given you the answer. The right answer is option B. Hormone that is secreted by the pituitary that promotes the reabsorption of water from the glomerular filtrate. Therefore the right answer is option B. Next question here. Addition of trace of tyrosine or iodine in water containing tadpoles will dash. So what happens here? So in 1912, okay, you have a person named Adnasnach. So he's called as Gudernach, or whatever you can pronounce it as, Gudernach, or you can say Adernach. So you can make the G or silent, and you can say Gudernach. Discover that metamorphosis in frog tadpole is controlled by the thyroxine hormone, which has iodine as a main constituent. If thyroxine or iodine is added in the water containing tadpoles in it, it increases the rate of metamorphosis in the tadpole. So it is said to make the process happen, or it is fastening the process of metamorphosis. Therefore the right answer is option B. Next question here. MSH of pars intermedia of middle pituitary is responsible for dash. What is it actually? Melanocyte stimulating hormone, which is simply abbreviated as MSH, or you can simply call it as melanotrophin, is secreted by the intermediate lobe of the adenohypophysis of the pituitary gland in the mammals. Okay. So you can ask me a question, how about the other mammals? You have animals, right? So there also you can find this. Okay. So we know what it is associated with. The more the amount of melanin in the skin, the more darker the skin is. Therefore the right answer is darkening of the skin in the lower vertebrates. Therefore the right answer is option A. Next question here. Which hormone possesses the anti-insulin effect? Very easy question. They are asking about the anti-insulin effect. What do you think will be the answer here? Cortisol is secreted by the middle region of the adrenal cortex. It increases the blood glucose level, which is an anti-insulin effect by converting the proteins and fats into glucose. Therefore the right answer is option A. Next question here. Identify the correct statement on inhibin. Okay, on inhibin is here. So you have to analyze the statements here. Inhibits the secretion of LH, FSH, wrong. It's produced by the granulose cells in the ovary and inhibits the secretion of FSH. In both females and males, inhibin. So what is the property of inhibin? It is to inhibit certain function. So it inhibits the FSH production. In females, FSH emulate the secretion of the inhibin from the granulosa cells of the ovarian follicles in the ovaries. So in turn, these inhibin will suppress it will not suppress LH, it will suppress the FSH. Okay, it is secreted by the Sertoli cells located in the seminiferous tubules inside the testis. Therefore, the right answer is option B. So whatever I explained is your right side, you can go through it. Next question here. A chemical signal that has both endocrine and neural roles to play. Very easy question. So when we talk about this, I can just give you an example so that you can find the answer. So whenever you have a shock, it is not just your endocrine system that seems to get affected, it's also your neural system that seems to get affected. We all know that, right? Your mind as well as your endocrine part is affected. So now you should know what the answer is. It's the epinephrine, which is option B. Epinephrine has two roles. One is hormone and the other is neurotransmitter. Okay. Next question here. What is correct to say about the hormone action in humans? So you have to analyze the statements here. Glucogen is secreted by beta cells. Wrong. Secretion of thymosin is stimulated by aging. No. In females, FSH binds with a specific receptor and on ovarian cell membrane. That is right. Glucogen are secreted by the alpha cells. We know that. Therefore, the first one also is wrong. Thymosin hormone secreted by thymus gland stimulates the development of certain kinds of white blood cells involved in producing immunity. It also hastens the attainment of the sexual maturity. Therefore, the one which is right here is option C. Next question here. A steroid hormone which regulates the glucose metabolism. What is it? We just now saw it. It's cortisol. Cortisol is a steroid hormone secreted by the adrenal cortex and plays an important role in the carbohydrate metabolism. It retards the glucose consumption and hence the level of the glucose in blood increases and blood pressure increases. And this question was asked in the year 2006. Next question here. Which one of the following is not a second messenger in hormone action? CAMP, CGMP, calcium, all these are second messengers except sodium. So in heart cells, CAMP acts as a secondary messenger which is made in the response of adrenaline and stimulates the calcium 2+ ions, and it comes out from the sarcoplasmic reticulum of the muscle fibers which causes a muscle contraction. While if you take GMP, which is called as cyclic guanosine monophosphate, it acts as a secondary messenger, works on the action of acetylcholine and increases the flow of Ca2+ into muscle fibers and hence causes. So what does it cause? Muscle relaxation. Therefore, calcium, CAMP, GMP, all these are secondary messengers except sodium. Next question here. Which one of the following does not act as a neurotransmitter? So we just now saw epinephrine, norepinephrine, then we have acetylcholine. All these act as neurotransmitters, but except cortisone. Okay, cortisone is actually not a neurotransmitter, while the other three are neurotransmitters because they are associated with the shock, fear and flight, you call that, emergency hormones. Okay, next question. Which hormone causes dilation of blood vessels, increased oxygen consumption and glucogenesis? Any idea? It's not insulin. It is not glucogen. It should be either ACTH or adrenaline. It is adrenaline. Adrenaline, which is called as fright, flight, fight hormone, is responsible for the dilation of the blood vessels, increased oxygen consumption by the tissues and glucogenesis to prepare the body for emergency. Only when the body is having any shock, the blood will pump really fast. More oxygen will be required for the heart. Dilation of blood vessels is required because imagine if something is going to block, you have the chance of even dying. So therefore the answer to this question is option B. Next question here. Which one of the following statement is correct? You have to analyze the statements here. Endocrine glands regulate neural activity and nervous system regulates endocrine glands. Yeah, that is right. Because as I already said, there are certain hormones which act as neurotransmitter, and they're also a part of the endocrine gland, which they act as hormone also. Therefore the first statement is right. Endocrine glands regulate neural activity as endocrine glands secrete epinephrine and norepinephrine. I said they are the emergency hormones. So when we get any fright, fear or some sort of thing, it's not just the brain that is affected, or it's not just the heart that is affected. The whole system is affected. So it's associated with both. Therefore the right answer is option A. Next question here. Parkinson's disease, characterized by the tremors and progressive rigidity of the limbs, is caused by the degeneration of the brain neurons that are involved in the movement control and makes use of the transmitter dash. So this is associated with dopamine. Parkinson's disease is actually called as paralysis. It develops due to the deficiency of the neurotransmitter. So it's because of the deficiency of dopamine. Okay. Dopamine is not produced due to the gradual destruction of the neurons in the substantia nigra. It produces muscle tremors, so-called shaking palsy. There is a lack of control and coordination of movements, resulting in the expressionless face, stooping posture, which gradually produces physical disability as well. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option C. So, Parkinson's disease, if you see, it is due to the deficiency of dopamine. Okay, so with this, we complete the part 5 of chemical coordination and regulation. Hope to meet you in the last part in the next part. Thank you.